Wow, a WWE hot take video. No one's doing that at all anymore. But you know, this is gonna be the one time I do it, because a couple weeks ago I gave you my 10 hot takes, or was it 7? Whatever, about WWE, and now finally I'm going to see what you guys have to say. I asked you this on Instagram. For my next video, I need you guys to respond. We're doing WWE hot takes, but I need the most disgusting, egregious, most offensive ones you could think of. Any opinion that you have that would get you beat up in the street if you said it out loud. Listen, this is gonna be the one time I do this. Everybody's doing hot take videos, but I did mine, my personal ones, a little while ago, so I want to see yours. We're doing this one time, so let it be known now, and I'll react to these in the next video. Yes, thank you. So let's see what your most ridiculous hot takes are. Again, this was your one and only chance to do it, so if you missed the boat, that's tough. Follow me on Instagram. Maybe you can get some prompts from me in the future for something else. But here we go. We got our first hot take here. Oh, God. TDE Goya, Chris Benoit is innocent. That's the first response I got. The first one. Chris Benoit is innocent. It's not even like, this is just a troll thing. I'll need some serious hot takes from you people. You sitting here trolling. No, he's not innocent. I actually saw a clip today from New Jack. He's sitting with the Iron Sheik and the Honky Tonk Man, and he goes off for about 4 minutes about Chris Benoit. I've never seen the clip until today. I can't believe, kid, if you know the clip I'm talking about, please put just any part of that promo in there, because holy shit.
And it's the same thing. You got away again with fucking murder. And Vince McMahon, you and the motherfuckers that work with you, all of you got blood on your hands, because all of you motherfuckers is crooked, and your kids keep getting away with fucking murder.
We actually have a lot of responses from you guys. I'm not going to be able to get to every single one. I mean, look, I'm not going to show you my camera roll, but look, these are all individual responses. That's crazy. You know, it's what you call motion. You feel me? This was James. Says the LA Knight push just isn't going to happen. Sorry, guys. Man, you know, I feel like this year's Money in the Bank was the time to pull the trigger on that. I'm pretty shocked that he's not Mr. Money in the Bank this year. Seth Rollins, I guess, makes sense. I guess he was the obvious one to win. But that's why I went with LA Knight, because he was like not the obvious one, but he was the one that could have held it. He's been in the last 3 Money in the Bank ladder matches. Triple H was on the freaking press conference a couple years ago talking about, hey, good things come to those who wait. Kid sent me that clip.
Great things come to those who wait.
Somebody told a lie one day.
I've been waiting for a long time. LA Knight's peak of this popularity, I think, has waned a little bit. And that makes me sad, because LA Knight's fantastic. He should be a main eventer. WWE needs main eventers. And I feel like just because he doesn't do fucking backflips, people, you know what I mean? I don't know, whatever. All right. We actually do have a lot of good ones here. I'm still on the first page of this. Marcus Kearns, 48, says they should end all bloodline stories. Getting too hard to name Samoan wrestlers. Are the Tonga brothers, all 3 of them, are they related? Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, and Tala Tonga, is that the other one? Are they actually related, like, for shoot? Because otherwise, what are we doing? And then you got JC Mateo. Where the fuck did he come from? He just looks Samoan, and they were just like, yeah, we'll put him in the bloodline, whatever. But yeah, I agree. I think once Roman got out of the bloodline, I think the tribal combat thing at the start of this year, that should have been the end of it. You know what I mean? Maybe have your faction, but like, we're still doing family drama. There's family drama with Jacob Fatu. There's family drama with Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso can't escape this bloodline vortex. Holy shit. He's been stuck in this thing for 5 years. Crispy22388. The Big Show was never worthy of any championship. Are you kidding me? The Big Show was never worthy of a championship. Why? I need some elaboration from you guys on it. You guys are just saying stuff. I mean, I guess that's the whole point, but this is one of those things where I feel like I need an explanation, because what did the Big Show do? He's good. Right? I mean, like, he didn't really hold world titles that often. I mean, it was in the late 2000s where he had a lot of those world heavyweight championships runs. I guess the WCW run, he had world title stuff in. I'm not too familiar with that time period. But he was WWE champion, what, once? You know what I mean? I don't think there's anything wrong with the Big Show. I think that for somebody his size and his look, he should be a world champion at least 1 or 2 times. That's why the Great Khali was world heavyweight champion. You know what I mean? Just look at him. How is this guy not the top guy, you know what I mean? Not like of the company, but it's like you have this 7 foot tall, 500-pound monster. How is he not beating the world champion? You know what I mean? That's just it. Regardless of whether or not you think he's talented, that's just, I mean, look at him. That's just how wrestling works, I feel like. Jacob Dixon, says Undertaker is only popular because of his WrestleMania streak. I don't know if that's even a hot take. That's just wrong, I think. I think in the later years of his career, his legacy was the streak because, I mean, for the first 10 years of the streak being a thing, they didn't really bring it up that often, right? Maybe once it got to 8-0 or 9-0, but Undertaker is around for a long time, and WrestleMania is like one show. He was a consistent guy on television almost every week for a long time, and he had so many other storylines involving Kane and Paul Bearer, obviously. I mean, a lot of the focus on him in the later stages of his career was WrestleMania, so maybe that's what kept him relevant for so long and kept him a legend, but like, that's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not going to say only popular because of the WrestleMania streak. However, I will give you the streak helped his legacy by a lot. Andrew Crawford says Edge has more stake in the GOAT convo than Flair.
Are you fucking crazy, buddy?
Huh? Listen, I don't even go back and watch old Ric Flair matches like that, but I mean, you don't have as much influence in the wrestling scene from Edge as Ric Flair. You know what I mean? I think Edge is great, and this is gonna sound like I'm hating on Edge now because we're comparing the two of them, but this is a crazy take. I mean, this was what I was asking for. I needed your most ridiculous take, but I mean, my God, you got songs named after Ric Flair. You know what I mean? You got people doing Ric Flair's moves all these years later. I mean, my God, the influence he's had on the wrestling industry. I'm surprised he's not on a Mount Rushmore himself. He's on a top 10 list, on probably most people's list. But more than Edge, or Edge being more than Flair, I don't even know what the argument you can make for this would be. Edge is great. I love Edge, but not more than Ric Flair, man. Holy shit. Laced Up White Guy says, Cody Rhodes is fucking garbage and overpushed. Overpushed, sure. I mean, I think if you're gonna have a face of the company, he needs to, be winning a lot. I mean, Rhea is the face of the women's division. She wins almost all the time. Cody Rhodes is the face of the men's division. He wins all the time. You know who else did that? John Cena. You know what I mean? And all these years have gone by, and we're okay with it now. This is the same thing. It's just somebody else. So if you're gonna be okay with John Cena, you should be okay with Cody Rhodes and Rhea Ripley. But fucking garbage, I just can't agree with. Cody Rhodes is a phenomenal professional wrestler. I don't know what else you need from him. The man's dedication to the world of professional wrestling, what he's done for the industry, he created a whole other company. He literally made WWE have to step their game up to compete with a whole other promotion. That was him. And he came back to that promotion and is the star of the company right now. I mean, he's over as hell for a reason. It's because he's good, and he's done a lot for everybody in wrestling. I mean, the bruised titty. The garbage, I can't even acknowledge that one, to be honest with you. I'm sorry, Laced Up White Guy. I love you, but I can't. Jey Uso should have never been World Heavyweight Champion, says MJB Train. Honestly, I feel like Jay's reign shouldn't have gone as long, or shouldn't be longer than it did go. I actually think he lost the title at the right time, because I do think that you run the risk of overexposing, even more than people already think it is, overexposing the Yeet thing. I mean, once you reach the World Heavyweight Championship scene, that's it. You can't get much further than here, especially like Cody Rhodes. He was WWE champion. The whole story that we had from the moment he returned to the company all the way until WrestleMania 40, where he won the title, the story was going then, and then he was the champion for a year. It's like, it made me not want to see him be WWE champion right now, at least for a long time. Roman Reigns, he held every title for 4 years. It was a 4-year reign. I don't want to see that man hold that title ever again. Maybe at least not for a long time. And I feel like if Jay had a long reign, that hype would have died down for me just a little bit as well. So keeping the championship off of him, quick, or taking it off him quick, I think it creates the want for him to get back in the main event scene again soon. I think what Triple H is guilty of is having these long title reigns, and the consequence of that is burning people out from seeing a main eventer like a Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns win the championship again. You know what I mean? Like, John Cena went 8 years without winning a world championship, and I think that length made it digestible for people. But in terms of him never being world heavyweight champion at all, I just think that's wrong. I understand maybe there are some people out there, like, regardless of people that don't like Jey Uso, don't like the Yeet thing, maybe don't think that he's really impressive in the ring, you cannot deny the numbers speak for itself. I mean, we speak about it all the time. Whether or not it's your cup of tea, I don't think there's any argument out there as to why you can't understand why they gave him the World Heavyweight Championship. I think it's just a given, you know what I mean? So I can understand not liking him, and if you want to just say, hey, I don't like Jey Uso, that's something, but you can't say he should have never been World Heavyweight Champion, I don't think, because you don't understand why. You really don't, you don't get why. I just think you're being a hater at that point, to be honest with you. Gunther is boring and overhyped, and he's almost as boring as Ronda Rousey. I think you just hate actual professional wrestlers, you know what I mean? I think you're more of a sports entertainment fan, Viper Assassin, because Gunther is probably the best thing to ever happen to WWE in terms of in-ring wrestling. I think, and I have a big Gunther bias. Gunther's probably my favorite in-ring performer alive right now. And I think that he brings a legitimacy to professional wrestling. He makes WWE seem like something to be taken seriously. Like, if you want to have the contrast of Gunther and Jey Uso's a very, silly, comical, not comical, but he's like a character, you know what I mean? And that's what I feel like has turned a lot of people off from WWE, but Gunther is like a wrestler. Like, if he was around in the 90s, people would be calling him the greatest of all time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm being real. He would have been right up there with the Bret Harts and Shawn Michaels. Gunther is not flashy. I think that's the thing that you're saying you're calling boring. He doesn't wear bright colors. He doesn't do fucking all these crazy athletic things. He doesn't do springboards or, backflips and all that shit. But that doesn't mean he's a boring, overhyped wrestler, I think. I think it's just he doesn't do what every other wrestler does. And I think that's what makes him stand out. You take Gunther matches seriously. This man has only been pinned or he's only lost 3 times on the main roster in 3 years. And he's been champion almost all of the time he's been there. I feel like when you see Gunther, you have to take his matches seriously. Like, damn, like what is going to happen here? Because Gunther is beatable, but like it's very hard to. So it's cool. Maybe you can get invested in that way. I kind of don't get. I get the boring thing because I feel like a lot of his promos have been kind of meh, and his title reign as well as last title reign was meh, But Gunther himself, I don't even think putting him in the same sentence as Ronda Rousey is right at all. I think that's a disservice to my boy Gunt. Zachary Robinson, Randy Orton is not a good wrestler. All he has is a flashy cutter. Holy shit. I think like it's the same thing as the Gunther thing. You know what I mean? They don't do all these crazy, like Randy Orton's not going out there doing what Penta does or what AJ Styles does, and everybody's like, oh, he's a fucking boring piece of shit. Wrestling's more than that. You know what I mean? Wrestling is about the storytelling, not only in the weekly TV segments, but in the matches themselves. You know what I mean? Working over a body part, being methodical. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I feel like the flashy cutter is obviously a really big thing in Randy Orton's career, but I think we're ignoring every other piece of character work he's done for the last 20-something years. He's a great heel. You know what I mean? I fucking hated Randy Orton when I was a kid. Holy shit. And that the man's doing his job. You know what I mean? I think if anybody doesn't, do fucking a soul snatch or a top rope, whatever, they dive off ladders, they're boring. Because everybody's doing that now, you know what I mean? People love Carmelo Hayes and Andrade and Seth Rollins and, you know what I'm saying, people like AJ Styles and Penta. I'm not saying that they're bad, obviously. I'm just saying, like, they do all these crazy athletic things, and it's when somebody doesn't, which is like, it's hard to come by now, where somebody doesn't do that stuff, they're looked at as, like, trash. I don't know. Other than the ending, Cena versus Rhodes was the better main event, says Braden. Whoa. Like, you're talking about more than the triple threat at Mania? I don't know about that at all. I mean, I think the ending did kill that match, but I don't think we could ignore how big the ending of a match has, like, in terms of impact on people's perception of... Oh my God. This girlfriend's calling me. Hold on.
Wrong.
I want to find, like, some ridiculous ones. I want to see, like, I'm trying to find the most egregious ones possible. That was the whole point of this. We've gotten some interesting takes, but I definitely want to find the crazy ones. Undead Soul 6 says, Cody Rhodes can suck on John Cena's 5-knuckle shuffle doggy style in the STF position. Thank you for that. Thank you. Dakota Montgomery says, The Shield is the most overrated faction of all time. As a team, what did they really do? I don't even know how to respond to this. I mean, they did a lot. I don't know, because, like, what is your definition of they didn't, like, do anything? You know what I mean? One of them was the sole survivor of the Survivor Series team one of the years. where they were still together. They had banging matches with the Wyatt family and Evolution. They were all holding championships at one point, the U.S. title and the tag team championships. Granted, Dean Ambrose didn't defend the U.S. title that much at all, but they still had their moments. They were undefeated for a long time. You know what I mean? Didn't they beat The Undertaker? They were whooping Undertaker's ass. The Rock, they were beating up a whole bunch of people. They were having fantastic six-man tag team matches. It was like a big deal when they lost for the first time. I mean, and also, the ending of the faction has been like the catalyst for almost every story that's going on in WWE right now. A lot of it can be traced back to the moment Seth Rollins hit Roman Reigns with a steel chair. That like started the fuel for a lot of the moments we've had over the last decade. So when you said it didn't really do anything, I just don't think you've been watching, unless you started watching in like 2021. Like I don't really know what you're talking about. That one was crazy. Holy shit. I don't fuck with Rey Mysterio. I think he's one of the most overrated wrestlers ever.
I want him dead. I want his family dead. I want his house burnt to the ground. I want to go to the middle of the night. I want to piss on his egg.
Wow. I mean, listen, that's just also your opinion. You know what I mean? Like, not liking a wrestler, I don't know if it's really a hot take. It's just your opinion. Despite what everybody online will tell you, you're allowed to have an opinion about professional wrestling. You know what I mean? It's subjective. I don't like Braun Breaker that much. That's my opinion, and that's okay. You don't like Rey Mysterio, that's okay. Whatever reason you have, fine. I mean, sure, it's a hot take. I feel like in terms of how many people would probably disagree with you about something like that, but whatever reason you have, I feel like is valid for you. You like what you want to like. If you said like Rey Mysterio sucks, like, I mean, maybe that's what you are saying here. And in that case, I don't know if I've ever seen a bad Rey Mysterio match. At least not too many of them in the last fucking 40 years or whatever. Yeah, I don't. Sure, whatever. You don't like him, that's fine. AEW would be a real competitor if the CM Punk stuff never happened. Ooh, I think AEW suffered a lot from. AEW was a real competitor for a long time. I think the stars that they had leaving hurt AEW more than the AEW fans would like to give credit for. I think Cody Rhodes leaving, CM Punk leaving, I think that stung a lot. That was a big deal for AEW, having, you know, a Rhodes being the owner of this company and having CM Punk with Kenny Omega and all these fucking people on the roster. I think like what AEW is now, it's just like American New Japan. You know what I mean? Just all those guys are just in AEW now and just doing the same thing. I feel like something that they had going for them was having a lot of stars from WWE go over there, like Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, Keith Lee, Swerve Strickland. The thing is, they didn't do much with those guys, or injuries a lot of the time. Oh my God, how many times did they start a storyline and somebody got injured? You know what I mean? Adam Cole being the perfect example of that. And then Bryan Danielson being at the end of his career. They had Sting towards the end of his career. So they had a lot of big names for a couple years before they either, you know, got down from their peak or retired, and now we're stuck with New Japan. And maybe I'm being a little harsh on that because there are still ex-WWE guys and, you know, a bunch of other people that maybe AEW originals like MJF and stuff like that. They are using them, but I feel like the hype has died down a little bit, and I don't see too many. Is it safe to say like new stars in that company? Is that not fair to say? I haven't been keeping up with it too much, but I mean, you have Ospreay, and then everybody else that's already been a main eventer, and then you have Jon Moxley having this fucking main event vortex, keeping the title hostage forever, and like no one's into that story with the Death Riders. I feel like they need somebody new, just like how WWE needs new people, because I feel like we're still seeing the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and Hangman Page win all the time. I mean, maybe Swerve is a different example of that. They did push Swerve a lot, and Ospreay is relatively new to AEW, so maybe I'm being a little too harsh on that. But yeah, I also haven't been keeping up with the product, so if I'm wrong about that, please let me know. Fresh meat is trash. Fuck you, bitch. I will show up to your house with a gun.
Hold on a minute, player.
Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe we can bleep his name out so people don't go after him. Bleep his name and his profile out, because I don't want to start no problems. But fuck you, buddy, huh? Piece of shit. The Undertaker streak was too long. Should have ended by Randy or Edge. I feel like the whole point of a streak is for it to like seem unbreakable. You know, I feel like 21 years undefeated. That's a big deal. Like, I feel like if he just went like 11-0 and he got beat, it's like, okay. But I think the streak, people have the argument that the streak never should have been broken. I disagree. I think it should have been broken at some point. I don't think Brock was the guy. I think in retrospect now, I think Roman Reigns being the guy would have meant a lot more to his career than him being the second person to beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Brock was gonna be Brock regardless. You could have had Brock beat Cena the way he did at SummerSlam in 2014 and have the exact same run, and the streak kind of had no impact on that whatsoever. I think if Roman, given what we know now, would have been the one to beat the streak, that could have been, the catalyst and, a big talking point for his career. It would have been a huge accolade for him to have, but he's just kind of like another guy to beat The Undertaker, and that's like it. The WWE would be so much better if Chris Benoit didn't do what he did, causing it to be PG. Wow. So when you say this, I feel like what you mean is the extreme parts of WWE, but I feel like we're in a good place now. You don't have to have people get hit with a chair in the head every 2 seconds to have an entertaining wrestling show. You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest thing that they changed about it. I mean, obviously they went from TV 14 to TV PG very shortly after the Benoit stuff. But I don't know. I feel like the changes that they made didn't really hurt too much. I think they went too PG with it for a long time. I think we're now in the era where like you can have a TV PG-ish program and not have it be what it was back in the 90s and early 2000s and still be entertaining. You know what I mean? Times have changed as well. Like some stuff just kind of lame now, like doing certain things, especially with the women. But then there's a lot more safe protocols. You have all these wrestlers dying at 50 years old because, you know what I mean? Like they've taken so much trauma, and wrestling's still dangerous now, but it's a lot less dangerous than it was before the Benoit incident happened. So I feel like when you say it would have been better, I think you mean it would have been a lot more dangerous, which is not good for anybody. Braun Breaker, oh God, Ashton Flexmaker. Braun Breaker is a glorified Ryback, a sack of muscle who needs personality. Now, while I don't like Braun Breaker too much, I want to, clear this up. I say this a lot that I'm not a big fan of Braun Breaker. I don't think he's a bad wrestler at all. I'm just not into him as a character / wrestler, just because like he doesn't, like you said, he doesn't like say much. He does need a personality, I think. I think that I will agree with you on that. He needs a personality, but comparing him to Ryback is kind of crazy. Ryback was over. No, but I think Braun is good in the ring. I've never doubted that in my life. But I do think that his lack of storylines, his lack of a personality does hurt him more than it helps. But this was just kind of a harsh way to put it. Oh, wow. K3X Lil, hell yeah, says, as much as I love Sammy, I don't think he can have a proper world title reign. Ooh, boy. I think it's the same thing as Jey Uso. If babyface, it's hard to have a long babyface world championship run. I think Cody got away with it for so long by being like the star that he is. I don't think Sami Zayn has much star power as Cody Rhodes does, but I do think we can tell a proper story where Sammy does win the Rumble in Saudi Arabia, goes on to beat whoever it is at WrestleMania, and then have a decent championship reign, maybe up until SummerSlam. I don't think he should have a long title reign, but I think a proper world title reign doesn't have to be a year long. I think it could be 3 to 4 months and still give you what you need in a babyface world championship reign. Sami Zayn is definitely the person that can do it, if anybody can do it. Yeah. Oh, what the huh says Hogan isn't racist. I mean, he is. He literally, this is not like a debate. People say Hogan is not racist. What are you talking about? He said whatever and he apologized. He literally said he was racist. This is not like a joke. This is, he literally told people, I'm just a little racist. There's no like debate. That's not a hot take. You're just wrong. Sorry. Kelly Weft says, I don't get why fans root for Karrion. His match in Night of Champions was mid. I think Karrion Kross, he's a great promo. We've spoken about this a lot on the channel, but I think he's a victim of not being pushed. I think like when somebody is cool, like, right? Like you have a personality backstage, it's like cool. and they're not being used on television, people freak out and like they want the viral guy to be pushed. Like Joe Hendry's a perfect example. Joe Hendry's like fine as a professional wrestler, but he had a viral moment or a viral meme, and like everybody wanted everything to happen for him. Mr. Iguana, people are talking about giving him main roster pushes. Karrion Kross, another example that I feel like he had a viral moment, and everybody is now clamoring for him to have like some big payoff in his career for that. And it's like, I don't like, we've gone through this so much. This happens a lot. You know what I mean? Where people want people to be, you know, the Daniel Bryan killed, you know, everything. Because fucking people just think that they have the voice to change people's careers. And like it happened that one time. And I guess the Cody Rhodes thing as well with Roman. But it's like, I don't know. Not everybody needs to be a main eventer just because they have some big moment. And I don't hate Karrion Kross at all. Like I think I'm not a huge fan of his professional wrestling matches, but as a promo, he's great. I think his character work is fantastic, but I don't think he has world championship material. And I know that I'm the minority on that. People really want him to be pushed. People wanted him to beat Sami Zayn at Night of Champions. I remember NXT. People seem to not remember NXT because fucking everybody hated this guy. But like something changed, I don't know what it was, because it wasn't a match. I'll tell you that much. It was not a match. Luke, both weights, sure. Logan Paul's United States champion run was the worst of all time. Shinsuke Nakamura. When you think of bad United States championship runs, you think of Dean Ambrose, I guess Logan Paul, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Logan Paul, he was kind of just like the Roman Reigns of the mid-card division. You know what I mean? He just left and came back and defended a couple times. It's the same thing. Logan Paul is also good. Shinsuke Nakamura is good as well, but Nakamura did not defend that bitch at all against anybody. He dropped it to the same guy that he beat. Had no storylines. He beat LA Knight, had 0 storylines and 0 title defenses, and then dropped it to LA Knight after 4 months. Why? What was the point? There was no point. That was the worst title reign I've ever seen, but I get what you mean about Logan Paul, I guess. Jaren's heel run was forced. I love the Final Chief year that I had with that championship. It's like, I told the boys that I wanted to turn heel on the podcast. I wanted to do something different with the Draft Wars title. And we had that moment, and that moment went crazy viral on TikTok. You know what I mean? It was definitely a big risk doing it because like I was still new to Vibe, and I just wanted something to stand out with me and also like make people want to see what happened next in terms of the run. Who would have known I would have held it for 210 days and tied with the most defenses of, you know, the championship. I got very lucky with that. And I think, I don't know, I personally, I mean, obviously I'm biased, but yo, people hated my fucking guts. People still hate my guts over on that channel because like a lot of people thought it was real, which is fucking awesome. Like so many people dead out, they were like, yo, Jaren's a crybaby. Jaren's like, you know, he fucking, he doesn't know when to, you know, just shut up. Like he's always complaining about something. And it's like, yes, this is what heals. People are like, oh my God, like I hate this fake wrestling bullshit on this channel. If only it could be real like those other professional wrestling storylines. LOL. I loved that run. I have nothing bad to say about that run. I wish it went longer. I wish I would have still had that championship, but I think we did. I think that reign was fantastic. Personally, I'm biased. I think that's the greatest Draft Wars championship reign of all time. I'm sorry. And cry to your mother about it. What can I say? We'll do one more here. I feel like we don't have too many like outrageous ones. I feel like we've seen a lot of. Okay, here we go. Oh man, we'll end it with this. Triple H is fucking racist, says Benny53078. I don't know how to like. I feel like people say this because the people being pushed, majority of them are white guys. My thing is, 80% of the roster are white guys. So it's like, that's just gonna happen. A black woman is Miss Money in the Bank. A black woman just won the Queen of the Ring tournament. Black people are tag team champions on both main roster shows. And Carmelo Hayes won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Now, while I think that maybe people could be pushed to a main event scene, we did have Kofi Mania. That wasn't Triple H, though. It's like people go, hey, like there's not enough black people on the pay-per-view, and there's not like that many on the roster, which that could be a problem enough on its own. I don't know if that's specifically on Triple H though. You know what I mean? Racist, I wouldn't say racist. But yeah, I don't even know how to really respond, because this is a big thing. Like, oh, people call him Triple K, and as a black man myself, despite what people think, I just don't see that. I don't look at wrestling, and I specifically WWE. I don't see that. You know what I mean? I can't wait to see. Now, here's the thing: if Obafemi comes to the main roster and he's losing to Akira Tozawa in a couple seconds, then we have a problem. All right, then I will storm that bitch myself. But I think we're okay. Okay, I think we're gonna end it there. You know, we had a lot of repeats on here, so I'm not gonna go through all of these. But thank you all for submitting your picks. Wow, yeah, we'll do this. No, we're not. Never doing it again. Everybody does a hot take video nowadays. So it's like, why the fuck would, you know what I mean? I'm trying to stand out as much as I possibly can. It's hard to get a fucking idea. Bro, I'll never forget the special guest referee video that I dropped for WrestleMania 40. I dropped that bitch. I was so excited. And I saw fucking Denkops and Macho T did the same thing. I said, damn. I was like, come on. It's just we all, sometimes you get overlapping ideas. So while this isn't an original idea, I'd like to stay away from this as much as possible. So this will be the only time we do this. Subscribe. Thank you for watching. We will see you soon. We're doing the Canceled Wrestlers Royal Rumble next. Hopefully, if I can download enough people in time. But we'll do it soon. Peace out.